You're listening to the Puzzle Podcast with Eddie D and Nicole, presented by Quality Content Puzzles. On this episode, a 24-year-old man steals an entire city's COVID relief money and disappears. And a man wins a sexual harassment claim on the basis of being bald-headed. Now, the Puzzled Podcast with Eddie D and Nicole.
Start us off with talking about this 24-year-old man who decided to take some money and run, literally.
Did he really decide to take the money? What was the money given to him?
Well,
and
read the story and let's find out.
Alright, so a 24-year-old man mistakenly received an entire Japanese town's COVID-19 relief money. He kept the cash and disappeared. A formatting issue led to the bank mistakenly thinking that 463 households' COVID-19 relief funds were to be sent to one account first. Which was given in the amount of $359,000. A man in Japan was given his entire town's COVID-19 relief payments by mistake in April, per local media. He was discovered to have vanished from his home when the town filed a lawsuit against him in May, local media reported. I can't wait to get there. According to the Thor News 24, the man's name was at the top of the town's list of account information sent. Small town?
Small town.
According to the bank, which was confused by a formatting issue that led it to believe the money should be transferred to his account first and later distributed to the rest of the townspeople. Does not make sense. Once he received the money, the man began to transfer the total sum out of the account in small daily increments to avoid detection.
At your boy.
To avoid detection.
At your boy. Keep going.
By the time the town authorities caught up with him on April 21st, he told them the money was all gone.
Oh, really? Look, keep reading. Stop. Just keep reading.
Sorry. All the funds had been transferred to an account to another financial institution, he told them, according to the newspaper. I cannot return the money back to the original account. I will make amends for my crime.
Holla at your boy.
May 12th, the town filed a lawsuit against the man demanding repayment of the relief funds and any legal fees, Thor News 24 reported. But he vanished from his home by then, the outlet reported on Sunday.
Holla at your boy.
He hadn't been a long-time resident in Abu, which is the town's name. He moved into the town in October 2020 through a government program aimed at repopulating rural areas. According to Thor News 24, town residents described the man as a good boy, young and handsome, and his landlord told reporters he already paid his rent for the month of May. Let's go.
Holla at your boy. See, last week we talked about a dummy of a criminal who didn't get her act together.
We're here.
And came up with this cockamamie scheme of 4 cars.
Oh my God.
To try to escape authorities so she could be with the love of her life. This dude had to come up with a plan in less than 24, 48, 72 hours. And not only did he get all the money gone, but he gone. Mm-hmm. This is what I meant last week when I said the most you could come up with was 4 cars.
With the amount of time you were given?
Because this dude had 0 hours to come up with something. And not only came up with the plan of the century, but he also now ain't nowhere to be found. Go ahead.
Why was I thinking the same thing? But I'm looking at it like this. So, it was more money than she had. This was basically $360,000. $360,000. Okay, I don't know how long the lady last week, how long they had been planning this. It couldn't have been that long. I guess it doesn't matter. Like this must first of all, before I get to him disappearing in his, Houdini act, like this must be a really, really small town. for got me patting my head. This must be a really small town.
For those who don't know, patting the head is typically something that happens when people who have hair that they don't mess with all that much. Instead of scratching it and making the hair come apart, they pat their heads like this in order to make the itch go away. I know nothing about it, and it makes it very
my thing is, Eddie, why was he at the top of the town's list of account information?
Alphabetical order.
What was his name?
I don't know. They haven't released his name.
That don't make no sense.
I would have released his name, but they didn't release his name.
No,
so
man.
we don't know.
I don't believe
we don't know.
I don't believe that to the bank.
They didn't release his name, so we don't know what his name started with.
Nah, man.
It started with an A.
Nah, man.
A.
I don't believe that. I don't believe Dismiss. Like, no. Why would it be at the top of account information that should be sent
to the bank?
To his bank.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that makes no sense.
Right.
At all.
They claim that the money had gone to his account first, and they were supposed to distribute to the other accounts later.
No.
That's the first mistake. That's the first mistake. So I'm hoping that they found that person and was fired on the spot. Because, like, how do you make a colossal error like that? Like, you know, this is where the money is supposed to go, to the bank.
This is not the first time you've done something like distribute money, though.
Right.
Like,
why was the protocol different this time around? I'm sure this wasn't the first time these people got relief funds. We've been independent for how long now?
Forever.
Like, we've been in this thing for so long. Like, ain't no way you made some type of error, a computer error, to the point where one person is now holding $359,000. How does that work? But here's my first question to you though. So let's say the bank decided to drop you $359,000. What would you do?
I'm gonna confirm it. But what did we do yesterday when we got something in the mail? Where did this come from? What is this?
So
is this legit?
Okay. So that's a little bit money.
Who been trying to pay this?
$359,000.
Who's gonna try to pay that back?
$359,000.
It's worth going to jail for?
Why you had to bring jail into it though?
Because that's what it's due for when they catch up with him.
So that leads me to the question that I have. That leads me to this question. Why does an error on the account of the government now make it my fault? I didn't put this money into my account.
Because
you put this money into my account. Why?
Let me tell you why. Because he was sneaky with it. He already knew. Why you gonna start taking it out little by little? Why you gonna start taking it out little by little?
Cause he knew if he took it out all at once.
Cause you know it ain't all for you. Wait, this dude he took out small amounts daily to avoid detection.
That's right.
You didn't want to get caught doing wrong.
That's whatever. Listen, you put let somebody put $359,000 in my account. More than likely,
what you gonna do?
I'm gonna give him 3 days. I'm gonna give him 3 days. One for the Father, one for the Son, and one for the Holy Ghost.
No.
If they don't come for their money after 3 days, this Resurrection Sunday.
Well, you know that ain't gonna happen because apparently it took 13 goddamn days.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly. So this money drops on the 8th, and y'all don't realize what's going on until the 21st. 13 days. 13 days. So you mean to tell me you ain't get well, let me take that back. Because I would be of the mindset that it may take that long, because usually when money drops like that, like you don't have like a set date and time that it's supposed to show up, and so you're thinking you may have a window about maybe 1 week, maybe 2 weeks. Now, okay, this money's supposed to be here, it ain't here. And then we start making some phone calls trying to figure out where the money at. So I can see maybe.
So you still gonna give it 3 days?
I'm like, one for the Father. One for the Son.
You know what?
And
I
one
was
for
let
the
you know.
Holy Ghost.
So you might as well go ahead and just get ready to do what you said you're gonna do. So you go to lockdown.
Exactly. No. We ain't going to lockdown. No, because this is what we gonna do. We gonna follow the blueprint. We gonna get this money. We gonna move this money to separate bank accounts, and then we finna disappear. We gonna buy passports. We buying Social Security cards. We buying Babbel online.
Man, single. He ain't got no family. He ain't got no kids.
We finna learn Babbel. We finna learn Spanish.
This man
Swahili.
He ain't got no family. He ain't got no kids.
You don't know what kind of family he got. He might have had a whole girlfriend.
And she gonna really?
We running the ride or die, fool. Ride or die. Bonnie and Clyde, Beyonce and Jay-Z. We're gonna run this together
until you get in the fray and bullets start flying.
So they gonna learn how to shoot. They got the money now. They gonna buy some guns, go buy some target practice.
Nah, man, we ain't gonna do that, man.
No, but see. Okay,
we ain't about that life.
But okay, so so after that though, they did spend another 21 days. I think 21 days after that. They spent 21 days trying to figure out how to get the money back. So in my mind, I'm like, so did he set up a fake account name and number and stuff? Because if he said the money's in a different financial institution, right? So that means that it's somewhere else. Couldn't the government just as easily have found out where his money at? Because all you need is Social Security.
That's my thing is why
y'all couldn't just find his money?
How you know he didn't do what you said and change everything?
Yeah, I mean, listen. If he did, that's what's up. Kinda.
He had 13 days to do it.
He had 13 days and an additional 21 after that. He had a whole month and a half. He had a whole month and a half to figure this thing out, and he figured it out. Like, he gone.
You can do a lot.
He gone. And I'm like, man, he did his thing. And look, listen, he did his thing.
So you mean to tell me you would personally be moving the money like he did? Knowing it's wrong, because I want to say something else. This decided to move it.
It's more fun. It's more fun.
No. To avoid detection.
That's right.
To avoid detection. Why do you want to avoid detection?
Because he knew. Because he knew that somebody would go for because he doing it with his money.
Thank you. He knew it was his money.
That ain't the point, though. Don't be dropping money in my bank account and not let it move. Like, you better go get this money. Like, that's what I say, 3 days. You got 3 days to fix your mistake.
But you know it can't be 3 days. You yourself just said that it will take too long. Because what they can't do it without
They can't do it now. They moved it in increments though. He moved it in increments. Y'all could have figured that out. I'm sure he didn't do it on the next day. He was like, oh, let me pull 10,000 out now. I'm pretty sure he was sitting at home like, okay, what do I do? You know what he probably called Boo Boo Ray Ray Nook Nook in there.
Right.
It was like, look,
hey,
what do we do?
I know somebody that knows somebody.
What do we do?
What do I do?
Right. And so that's what happened. What do I gotta do to make this right? So he did call Boo Boo Nook
Nook. Him off, foot.
Didn't I tell him to do that last week? Didn't I say? Who we gotta pay off? Who do we gotta give the money to get this to work? Like, it's so simple to me. I don't know. Maybe. No. I'm not as criminal minded as and that's a good thing, I guess. But I would think, let me get some help. I'm not versed at this stuff. Let me go get some assistance and figure this thing out. So he called Boo Boo, Nook Nook, Ray Ray, and them and said, we finna move this money. Tell me what to do. And they said, bet. Just break me off a piece of that credit card. And let's go to work. And sure enough, he got the money out of there. That's on them. No. That's on them.
So you're saying that just because somebody else made a mistake, you should do what you know is not right because of their mistake?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
So wait a minute. Hold up. Repeat that. Run that back.
Listen, all I'm saying is, it is certainly a moral and ethical dilemma. Because I know some people, more likely me, that would be like, nah, let's make sure this is legit, because I don't want nobody coming after me.
Yesterday?
That's it. No, sure.
The stuff went where it went.
Yes, I 100%. That's what we did, because we know. Let somebody come knocking on our door. We scared. I don't want to go to jail. And so,
I heard too many stories.
Listen. I've seen. Okay, listen. so I'm like, listen, no, come get this money, because this don't belong to me. But again, I want to say what I would do is wait 3 days. You know what I mean? I probably been making some phone calls. Look, who money this is?
Well, this house be done. We'll buy another house.
Listen, that's all I'm saying. And again, I think what makes it so sad is that this was COVID relief money. And so these people, I mean, I'm sure the money wasn't, it was probably pennies compared to what they actually needed. So it was just kind of a help in the moment type deal, much like how we've seen in our own government with the stimulus checks and things like that. And so for those people, they were shortchanged big time. And so that sucks. You know, there was COVID relief money. It's not like some company made a clerical error and sent somebody $392,000 out of their buku of money, you know, and it was like a one transaction. Like this was, according to it was like 463 residents of that city that were in need of COVID relief. And so that part makes it a little more tragic than what it is. We're making light of it because, you know, it's still stupid, but you know, those people definitely needed that money in some type of way. They're probably, you know, unemployed and things like that. So it just makes it a little more tragic. Because now those people, my question becomes, then how did the government step in and give them the money that they were supposed to have? Like, they're suing this dude and he's gone.
So it's like you make a mistake now. Because you made the mistake, you made the mistake. But now you got other people who were involved. And now, dang, it's just like last week. Like, you do what you do, not knowing who it affects. You know, you're just thinking about yourself.
Who it affects.
Selfish.
Right, because he said in the write-up, I can't return the money back to your original account. I'll make amends for my crime.
Yes, he could.
He could have. He could have easily have given the money back.
Transferred that.
He could have told them where the money at. He ain't got to transfer nothing. Just tell them where the money's at and be done with it.
And he could have all over the world.
Right. Could have just easily said, I didn't know. It showed up. I got excited. I moved it. And my bad. I didn't know it was all the COVID money for everybody.
Yes, you did.
No. I'm not saying he didn't. I'm just saying that would have been my story. I would have been like, listen. So I wake up one morning and I look at my account. It's got $360,000 in it. Shoot.
What you gonna do with it?
Right. And so I did what I felt like I should do. And I didn't know that it was the whole city's COVID money.
Yes, you did. 300. Where you go?
I didn't know it was the whole city's money. I'm telling you, this is an excuse I'm gonna use. They got me the truth. It's just the excuse I'm gonna use. I didn't know it was the whole city's COVID money. I thought it was just some random money dropped in my lap. So I moved it.
Words of Cliff Huxtable. No wonder
well, you make D's and everything.
But man, I'm not gonna lie. That is, I don't see. I can't say that I would do that. It would run through my mind and.
It was definitely gonna run through mine. It's definitely gonna run through mine.
And I'm also thinking about, this is what I'm gonna lose if I get caught.
Yeah, I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail. Exactly. I'm going to jail.
He vanished from his home.
Yeah, so that means he can't see mama no more. Exactly. He can't see daddy no more.
Because you know that, like, if your son contacts you,
right.
They probably got their place bugged.
You do realize that if you don't turn in your son,
you're a fugitive.
We can have you sent such and such.
Exactly.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like all that, like to me, it's selfish because you're not thinking about the consequences of what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Like it's not just affecting you. It's not even just affecting your family. It's affecting a whole
city. A whole city. 463 residents lost out of that money. And again, like I said, there's too many. There's a lot of moving pieces because not the bank, but the person who made the clerical error in the government system, that person's at fault. But even then, he need to be gone. But at the same time, mistakes happen.
That's a big mistake.
No, I know. I'm not saying it's not big. I'm just saying it's worthy.
And my thing is, Eddie. So the person who made this mistake, I know that you are not about to give this type of job to someone who just started working there.
Right.
You have to have been there for a while, so you should know how to do stuff. That's where my mindset is. Like, I don't think you would give that big of a job involving that amount of money to someone who just started. Like, I wouldn't do that. So to the person who did this, I'm thinking that you've been there for a while, so you should know. You should know.
You know what'd be crazy? You know what'd be crazy? If he knew the person that made the mistake at the government, and they had actually hatched this plan together, and so he ran off and vanished with this person, and this person was his contact the whole time. They split the wheels.
God dang, we watched too many movies.
They the brothers from Fast Five. They up in Monaco right now saying bet on black. No, you bet on red.
Man, that's a conspiracy crap, dude. Like, that'd be messed up.
That'd be messed up.
Wow.
I mean, stranger things have happened, though.
You know they're gonna investigate.
Well, of course they're gonna investigate. They're gonna figure out where it's at and all this other kind of stuff.
You sure?
I hope that there be an update soon that we can be able to come back and be like, so they found them.
Did they find the money?
But listen, like I said, I hope he hitched the plan well and was able to run away forever.
I'm not condoning that. I don't hope that he hitched a plan well.
Sure, he can go.
Because if he gets away, then a whole bunch of people who need the money can't get it. So you got women, men who may be out of work, children.
You might be right about that, but here's the thing. I feel like the government, because it originated with them.
Yeah.
It didn't originate with him. It originated with them. Now, mind you, he's still big to fault. Still at fault, 100%. But it's not. I blame him, but I blame them first. I think that for them, they should just go ahead and give that money back to them. Like it's for me, and I think that's what bothers me. It's like the solution is so simple. Just give them the checks. Yeah, you gonna come out $300,000. Got to figure out where to make that money up from. But the people are in need. The people are in need. So don't go through this whole thing where they gotta sue the whole town or sue the government and all this other kind of stuff. Just give them the checks. Just give them the checks.
Because it's how about a lot. Well, hold up. What'd you just say?
Give them the checks.
Town, you said sue the whole town.
Suing the town.
Who's suing the town?
The people are suing the town. They're suing him. They're suing the
man.
Yeah, they're suing him.
That's dumb.
Right. Because he can't give them nothing. He gone. He gone.
Sue the freaking government who made the goddamn mistake.
And like I said, even if you don't sue them, like the government should just step in and say, we're going to fix this.
I sue for more. I sue for emotional damage.
And by the time that darn lawsuit go through, it's gonna be like 15 years later. Everybody that could have got something gonna be dead. It's gonna be this whole thing. Like just like with the Tulsa race riots. Like there's like 3 living survivors of it now, and all 3 of them got like $1 million. But you cost so many people their lives over the course of 60, 70 years. Like it's a big show of faith and gesture now, to give them something in reparation, but they're like 80 and 90 years old. What are they gonna... they do plenty with $1 million. But, like, in seriousness, what are they gonna do with that? What are they gonna do with that? And it's just 3 people compared to all the people whose lives were affected and impacted by y'all's dumb mistake because you were mad at a city that was thriving. Yeah. You got mad, so you blew it up. and then want to try to whitewash it out of the history books. And now, because everything's coming to the surface, you want to repay the 3 people that are left alive. What if they weren't alive? Then what?
I think they should pay their families, maybe.
Right, that would be a fairer gesture to make, but they're not gonna do that because that costs too much. So that's for me. Like y'all.
This is the world we live in.
World we live in. Like you're gonna give the money to who you want to give it to. You're gonna do what you want to do, and you're gonna try to make these symbolic gestures, but you're not gonna make real change. And that's what sucks the most because again, these people were impacted by 2 people's mistakes. 1, the person who did the clerical error in the computer, and 2, this dude who got greedy.
Yeah.
And as a result of his greed, now 463 residents of this city have to suffer and got to go through lawsuits that are never going to go through the courts in a timely fashion to help them right now. Because they need help now. They don't need help 5 years from now. They need help today. And it'd be just as simple to just say, we're going to pump out another $300,000 and do it right this time. And be done with it. But instead, now it's all tied up and they trying to find him. He living his best life off in Costa Rica somewhere. And he never coming back. He ain't never going back.
That's where he at. He's in Dubai.
He's in Dubai.
Yeah.
Living his best life. With Fast and Furious.
All them.
Fast and Furious.
Or maybe
people.
he's in Brazil.
got him a 70s Charger. Sky blue Nissan. We look like Papa Smurf.
He might be a racer.
Oh yeah,
jumping over cars.
I'd be a racer now with $300,000. I'd definitely be a racer now. No, you know what? No, for me, I just go find a private island somewhere where nobody can find me.
Dude, and just chill out on the beach.
Living my best life. I learned how to raise some chickens and some goats.
No, man.
And not hire some people to raise some chickens and goats.
I would find a pet shark.
Hey, okay, so when shark goes shark on you, then what?
He'll be my pet.
He don't care.
It's just like Jurassic World. Blue is never going to kill his alpha.
Until he find another alpha.
No.
Shark gonna be okay.
We don't see in 3 that Blue is not gonna
okay
kill
when
his
animals
alpha.
attack. Okay, you'll see how these lions get tamed, but then they always try their master at some point, and either the master gonna be able to put him back into shape, or he gonna be put in shape.
I got my shark. Yeah, my shark. I'm gonna learn how to swim.
That's why they didn't use real lions in the Lion King.
When lions attack,
on set. Ain't no way.
Oh my
Ain't no way.
Wow.
Listen, you're watching the Puzzle Podcast with Eddie and Nicole right here on TikTok and Instagram Live. We are presented by Quality Content and we are sponsored by RVL Wellness, the Very Good Puzzle Company, Better Co, and 4 Point Puzzles. Right now, I am puzzling with this very good puzzle entitled River Keepers. It's been on my shelf for a while, and it was one of the earlier puzzles that my former racers had puzzled with. I never got a chance to crack it open because it scared me, and I see why they got mad at me for picking that to race with. So I'm putting it together now, and I'm having a lot of fun with it so far. So I'm definitely hoping to enjoy it throughout the entirety of its assembly. So again, you're watching the Puzzle Podcast with Eddie D and Nicole. Are you ready for our next story?
I am. Can I read this one too? Because
You
I really
can.
want to hear.
Yes.
I want to hear.
Yes.
What you have to say about this.
You may read it. Go ahead.
So, calling men bald at work now considered sexual harassment in the UK. All right.
You want to read it because I'm bald?
No, I just want to hear what you have to say about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
All right.
So, insulting a man for being bald in the workplace amounts to sex harassment in the UK. A panel of balding judges have ruled hair loss is far
You gotta
more
read the story though, baby. You gotta read it.
I'm trying. Okay. Hair loss is far more common among men than women, so using the term is inherently related to sex. Sorry.
You gotta read the story, baby.
And equivalent to commenting on the size of a woman's breast, the employment tribunal said. The finding, made by 3 judges, men, who
You gotta read the story, bud.
lack of locks in judgment, I'm sorry, came in the case of an electrician, Tony Finn, who sued a small Yorkshire-based family business over the term. Things first got hairy. I'm sorry.
You gotta read the story, man. I can't react to it if you don't read it.
Things first got hairy when one of Finn's supervisors, Jamie King, allegedly called him a fat, bald cunt. I'm guessing that's the word.
That's the word. Mm-hmm.
And he was later fired from the West Yorkshire-based British Bung, which makes wooden cask plugs, according to the outlet. The accusation resulted in the panel headed by Judge Jonathan Bryan deliberating... Okay, I'm sorry. In the brain.
Gotta read the story.
Okay. Deliberating on if King's baldness bash was simply insulting or rose to the level of harassment. In our judgment, there is a connection between the word bald on the one hand and the protected characteristic of sex on the other. We find it to be inherently related to sex. The judges ruled that the term bald is inherently related to sex and compared to the use of the term to commenting on a woman's breast. The ruling noted that the company's lawyer was right to submit that women as well as men may be bald, but contended that baldness is much more prevalent in men than women. So too, it is much more likely that a person on the receiving end of a remark such as that made by Mr. King would be male. The finding also declared that criticizing Finn for his his hairless head, was degrading him.
Gotta read the story, Nick.
So
this is why she's not gonna read stories no more.
I've already read it, I promise. It's just super. Okay. This is strong language.
Why she ain't reading the stories no more.
Although, as we find, industrial language was commonplace on the West Yorkshire factory floor, in our judgment, Mr. King crossed the line by making remarks personal to the claimant about his appearance. It is difficult to conclude other than that Mr. King uttered those words with the purpose of violating Mr. Finn's dignity and creating an intimidating, hostile, degrading, humiliating, or offensive environment for Of his own admission, Mr. King's intention was to threaten and to insult him. Along with upholding Finn's sex harassment claim, they ruled the company had dismissed him unfairly after 24 years on the job. Finn's financial compensation will be determined at a later date. Okay. Whew. I got through it. I did it.
Okay.
I did it. I'm so proud of myself.
All right. Y'all all idiots.
One more time.
Y'all all idiots. All right. So, first of all, the man claimed. Okay, so I'm only going to use this word one time because it is a degrading term for women, and I don't want to be accused of like just saying it all willy-nilly. So I'm going to just say it one time. I'm going to define it, and then we'll go from there. So the word that they used was cunt. C-U-N-T. Yeah. And that word is describing a woman's genitals. This is a derogatory term. It is of Anglo-Saxon British origin. And it is a term that is used to basically, degrade folk. And so this man called him a stupid, bald C-word. The C-word didn't offend him.
Come on, man. For real, though.
Of all the words in this entire... I'm mad.
Oh
this throw out that
I didn't even think about that.
Of all the words that bothered you, it wasn't fat. It wasn't stupid. It wasn't old. And it wasn't the C word, which is more sexually explicit than all the other words combined.
Yes.
You are mad because he called you bald.
Yes.
That's the first thing that bothers me. Because let somebody call me any of those words, I would think the C word would bother me the most. Because again, it's derogatory, it's describing a woman's genitals, and by you saying that to me, you're basically calling me gay, weak, you know, all this other type of stuff, and that is insulting, more so than any other word to me. So let me explain what happened here. The lawyers got together and said, you know what, we got these 3 judges up
No
here.
women.
Ain't no women up there, and all of them bald.
Bald, come on.
I think we can make an argument that if you say that the word bald bothered you, somehow, some way, we can argue that bald is a reference to a male. And by it being a reference to a male, we can use sexual harassment as the reason for you needing financial compensation. We calling J.G. Wentworth tomorrow so you can get paid. 877 cash now. Because you about to get paid with an argument. I think we can win. And you know what he said? Good job. I think you made a lot of sense. Let's go with that. So they went into this courtroom with these 3 people, these 3 men that got bald heads and really stuck it to them. Talking about, do you hate being called bald?
Yeah, man.
I do too. It's sexually degrading. You ever looked at yourself in the mirror and said to yourself, I wish I had hair on my head? And I tried to use the Hims formula, but it made me a little bigger in the mid-size, and I didn't like it. So I had to be bald for the rest of my life. But as a result of that, people were making fun of me. People were making fun of you because you're bald. That's the same type of degradation this man felt when this man called him a stupid, fat, old, bald. And it resonated with them to the point where they said, I think baldness rises to the level of sexual harassment. That way, the judges could then say, you can't call me bald no more in this office. So it wasn't even about the man. It was about them. Because they got tired of being called bald everywhere they went. So now they got a law in place, they got a ruling in place that they can now use to tell anybody, if you call me bald one more time, I'm taking you to court. Go ahead, man.
I don't even want to push no more. Cut tape. Man, okay.
Woo!
Dude.
Go ahead, man.
Think about that. But the first thing I thought about, if you guys can look at my paper right now, all I have is what? What?
Okay.
What the heck? This article is borderline comedy to me, man.
It's stupid.
Because you know how I know this is dumb? Because even in the article, you making jokes.
They were cracking so many jokes in the article. The article couldn't even keep making itself serious. They couldn't even keep a serious face themselves. So a hair-raising conclusion.
Okay. Before they got to the hairless man, things first got hairy.
They cracking jokes too.
For the hairless head.
They can't believe what they hear, what they got to write up about.
Okay.
This is stupid foolishness.
Where is this coming from? When has bald ever been associated
with sexual harassment?
Besides a woman being bald down there.
Right.
Like, I don't...
Exactly.
So I guess they're saying that...
So
I guess it hurts them because they're bald, and because they're called the C word, they're trying to equate it to a woman.
No, they didn't. Because even the man said, the C word didn't bother me. It was the bald word that bothered me. So no, it had nothing to do with the C word at all. It was the fact that he was called bald.
It's sexual harassment.
Thank you. It's
really.
So that which leads me to the next point. Like the courts basically said that this man who said, the man, Mr. Finn, who said this, I think it was Mr. Finn or King, I can't remember which one it was, that said this to this man, said it with the intent to sexually harass him.
They're saying that Mr. King said that with the intent
to Mr. Finn. Yeah, King said it to Finn with the intent to sexually harass him.
Or threaten.
No. Because
that's what they're saying. His intention was to threaten.
Right, was to threaten, which makes sense when he said to him, what was it that he said? It's in the other article. It's in the other article. Hold on. Because he said in the other article,
But how is that a threat, though?
Hold on, I'm about to find it. Give me a minute. Here it is, because here's the threat. The threat was when the man threatened to deck me.
Oh.
There's the threat. So there's the threat. The threat's there. So that part makes sense to me. That when they say that
I got so caught up in that article.
No, which was fine. Which was fine. Like, so that was
article.
Right. So the intent to threaten him was real. That was there. But then you're trying to make an argument, trying to make a conclusion that he sexually harassed you. I think he was insulted. Yes.
He wasn't threatened about. I mean, he wasn't.
There was nothing about sexual.
Like,
I want to
knock him out.
Listen,
that wasn't the insult to him, right? For him.
No, that wasn't. No, that was the threat.
But to him, it wasn't. To him, that didn't bother him. The fact that he was going to get beat up.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Like, so the threat of you getting beat up, fear for life and safety, that didn't bother you as much as the sexual harassment stuff. When I think about sexual harassment, and again, you listen, y'all watching, correct me if I'm wrong, because maybe I need to be educated on some stuff. When I think about sexual harassment, I'm thinking about unwanted sexual advances. I'm thinking about comments being made to you about your body in a sensual, sexual type of way that you don't want. I'm thinking about threats of, quid pro quo. You give me some and I'll give you a job, or I'll give you a raise. If you don't, I'm going to get you fired. That type stuff. I'm thinking about, people who are bribing you by saying, if you don't do this, then I'm going to do that. Like, I don't see somebody landing an insult at you because they're angry with you about something that you did or didn't do. I don't see that as sexual harassment. And so, yeah, the words themselves might have been what they were, but they didn't, to me, rise to the level of intent of sexual harassment, especially considering the fact that the one word that might be more sexual than any other word in the insult, you're not even considering.
Yeah.
You didn't even consider that word. And so
there was no type of advance. There was no type of, like, I want you type. No, this was I'm gonna knock you out.
Yeah.
That was not sexual.
You blank.
How do you equate baldness to breast?
Girl, so thank you. Again, how? Because
if that's the case, Eddie, then every bald person walking around needs to get arrested or something, because you're not supposed to
expose your genitals. So you saying it's a genital now? So I need to wear hats at all times. I need to grow my hair out for real then.
I guess.
Okay.
It's not so. How, God dirty, I can't even get it out right. I don't even know what I want to say.
So because I know that there's some women. I know that there women love a bald-headed man. Okay, so I get that part. I love a bald-headed man. That's so good. So I know that's a real thing. As you see in the trends nowadays, just about every man is rocking the bald head with the beard now. Hi.
What?
You looking at me kind of. What's up?
What?
We'll talk about it later. Okay.
Love the bald heads because you like to rub them.
See, there's a case in point. Case in point.
That's why you're doing that. You see a trend going on.
I don't see a trend. I can't grow my hair like I want to.
You can if you want to.
It ain't gonna look right. Yeah, therefore, it's over with. Whatever. I'm bald, ride or die. I understand now what Terry on Brooklyn Nine-Nine said with, yeah, we shave our heads because it looks good. I get what he meant by that now. 100%. But no, so it is sexy. It is a sex symbol of sorts, and there's some people who they can't get enough of it. So there is something to be there. There's something to it. There's some grounds for it. But again, I don't think this was that. This man in no way, shape, or form was coming on to Mr. King or Mr. Finn. Like who was who?
Mr. King is the
okay.
one
Mr. King. Mr. King was not trying to advance on Mr. Finn at all, according to this.
But does it have to be so does it have to be an advance to be sexual harassment? What if you're making jokes?
Exactly. So again, it goes back to what I said with intent. Like, what was your intention in saying what you said? Were you saying what you were saying to sexually advance on somebody in any way, shape, or form, or was it simply an insult?
Or to be funny, like,
or to be funny, right? And can you prove that? In my eyes, that's not proof.
Yeah,
that's not proof. What that is I was mad. I said what I said, and again, the one word that would be more sexual than any other word in that sentence, in that phrase, that didn't even bother him. It's the ball that bothered him.
Not even the fact that you about to get toe up. That didn't bother you.
That didn't bother you, right? Because he probably fight.
Don't touch my bald head.
Right.
So then my thing is he gay?
Maybe.
And so maybe that's part of. Oh, maybe that's
possible.
Part of.
It's possible. It's so again. But even if it's not, the point that I'm making is that they made this argument that, you know, his baldness rises to the level of sexual harassment. That someone commenting on your baldness, if it's unwarranted, rises, if it's unasked for, or if it's, you know, unsolicited, rises to the level of sexual harassment by virtue of him being a man.
So if you're a woman and you're bald, does that
exactly
rise to the level of sexual
exactly?
Or what if you have beautiful eyes?
Right. So now your eyeballs,
they are equated
to right, because but no
what if your lips
but stop because what you're saying, the way that you're saying it, going back to intent, the way you're saying it sounds like sexual intent.
You want big eye
thank you, that's what I'm saying. That's the point I'm making. Like, it's rising to the level. So by you saying your big eye, so now that's sexual harassment?
I'ma attack you.
Right. Little man. Little feet man. Now your feet.
Come on, Eddie. Because aren't feet.
Come on.
Sometimes.
Exactly. I'm going to get you with your 3 fingers. Your claw finger looking. Your ashy elbow looking. Your big gut looking. What are we doing? So if all the judges on the bench had big guts, we gonna argue big guts as sexual. You fat hoe. Big gut having C word. Oh no. So is that now rising to the level of sexual harassment? That's why I said it's stupid. This is stupid.
Because I mean, Eddie, if
your mustache weird.
Your big lip. Oh my God. Because Eddie, if you think about it, the whole body is it's a sex symbol.
It's
like
yes.
People see different parts of the body as sexy.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So is it sexual harassment to threaten somebody, because this was a threat.
This was a threat of bodily harm,
not of
sexual advance. Like I'm gonna take your balls.
So
like,
then, if somebody says, "I'm gonna knock you in the next week with your big old thighs," is that a sexual harassment?
No big thighs, little leg having. So Kevin Hart should have gone to prison in the 4th grade. Yo, big, no, having. That makes sense to me, but that wasn't sexual harassment. It was a threat of bodily harm. Those are two totally different things. To me. And again, maybe I'm wrong. I need some education. Somebody please help me out to understand this. But I just don't see it. I don't see it. It doesn't make sense. Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
I don't understand.
I don't either.
I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. And so for me, that's why this whole situation just didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense.
Let me stop drinking right now, so I just put water everywhere. So yeah, that I can't stop laughing. I can't read stories like this anymore. Cause I ain't gonna lie, this article was borderline comedy. It was a comedy article. You sure you didn't get this off a comedy website?
Independent.com/UK. And then what makes it even worse is that the man, Mr. King, is 30 years younger than Mr. Finn, the person who he insulted, right? And so, again, it would make more sense if you were scared of him actually beating you up. Because I can see that. You know,
everybody has their insecurities that bother them. Right. And I think that for some people it's baldness, for some people it is their eyes, for some people it is their size, for some people it is their feet, for some people it's their lips, for some people it's their ears, their nose. So
but it's one thing to feel insulted, but it's a whole other thing to rise it to the level of sexual harassment is all I'm saying. Like there's
oh my gosh.
I would think you would need to be able to prove intent with that. Like, you have to intend on doing something in order to make somebody feel a certain way. To me. That's how I feel about it.
Threatened to deck them. Maybe deck.
That was the threat!
Look up deck.
Bodily harm. I'm finna deck you, fool!
Is that what deck means
to them? Well... I don't like how that word sounds like another word.
I know. I'm about to deck you.
So
I'm gonna deck you.
Okay. All right.
That's why I'm like, is he gay?
Yeah, maybe.
I'm gonna deck you.
But you know, at the end of the that's why I said what I said before. Like
don't drink it, nigga. Don't drink nothing yet.
Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Because at this point, like. Again, now everything is on the table. Now that you've made this ruling, everything is on the table. So every time somebody threatens you in any type of way, your eyes, your lips, your fingernails, your hair color, the size of your head, you know, your thighs, your toes, your necklaces,
clothes you wear.
Right, like you know, with your long dress wearing self. You know, with your
not short dress anymore.
Right, long dresses, long dress wearing self. Your big
closed shoe toe,
your open toe shoe self. Make me sick. Right. With them high, with them low tennis shoe wearing, them New Balance wearing, them Adidas wearing. We finna go to court.
Wait, what?
We finna go to court. Yo, Nike wearing. We finna go to court over there. Like, God, dog. And it's sexual harassment too. Your bell bottom wearing, like, please. Your flare pants wearing, please.
Pointed to the apple bottom jeans.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Your crop top wearing. Your t-shirt wearing.
He was trying to undress me with his eyes.
Come on. Your jacket wearing. Like, come on now. Come on. Like, again, and hear me when I say I'm not trying to trivialize anybody who's ever been harassed in any type of way, shape, or form. So please do not mistake what I'm saying as me just trying to be, trying to crack jokes on people who have been harassed, because harassment is real.
Yeah.
It's a real thing, and a lot of people have to deal with that on a regular basis, and they're scared to say anything because if they say something, then they're going to get harassed even more just for saying something and things like that. Yeah. So I'm not trivializing it. As a matter of fact, it's for that reason that this story bothers me even more. Because now what you're doing is you're painting this whole thing with such a broad brush now that you're going to make it that much more difficult for people to actually take cases seriously. Unlike these jokers, take these cases seriously. It's going to be harder for them to prosecute, harder for them to convict, because now they've got to prove even harder now intent.
Yeah, intent. Yeah.
Because you up here talking about he hurt my feelings. He sexually harassed me because he called me bald when he was insulting me and threatened bodily harm. Like, so now you're gonna make it that much more difficult for people who actually do get harassed on a regular basis to prove it, because they gonna be looking at this case and be like, see, that's why we can't take stuff seriously now. And so again, it's like I'm not trivializing it at all. This is what makes me upset, because heaven forbid I go through it, my wife goes through it, kids go through it in any way, shape, or form. That stuff's hard to prove.
Oh, I'm going to jail then.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's hard to prove. It's so hard to prove in court. He said, she said, all this other type stuff. It's so hard to prove in court. And so when you come up with stuff like this, and you award these people for their idiocy, to me, it makes it that much more difficult for the people who are actually going through this stuff to actually prove their cases. Yeah. Because again, you're gonna have some judges, you're gonna have some lawyers, you're gonna have some publicists, news channels, the whole 9 yards, who are gonna be looking at these situations and being like, man, for what? Yeah. We ain't no reason to taking this seriously. And so again, I'm
not just for women, but for men too.
Yes.
Because you're a man and you're doing this, like, what happens to a man who is seriously
getting sexually harassed? Exactly.
Like, what do you do then? Now, it's already hard for a man to prove he's sexually harassed because he's a culture.
Man. Because the culture. The culture is like, oh, you're harassed.
How do you get sexually harassed?
First of all, secondly, she came on you, buddy, hands up. What you talking about? You harassed? There's a high five, fool.
It doesn't always have to be a touch, though. That's not like harassment.
Right. Again, quid pro quo. If you sleep with me tonight, I'll give you the promotion that I've been talking to you about.
Ooh, I see something in them pants.
Right. Exactly. Like, and again, it's so difficult to prove this stuff, right? It's so hard to prove this stuff. And so again, when you have situations like this, it makes it that much more difficult to prove in court. And so again, that's why for me, that's what this story makes it bothers me. It bothers me. We're making light of it, but it bothers me because for the people who go through this stuff on a regular basis, they see stuff like this, especially women, and they say, where's my justice? Yeah. Yeah. You gave it to him on some foolishness.
Exactly. What about this that really happened? Girl. What about this that really happened? What about this that really happened and it was physical? Right. I'm saying, let that happen. I'm going to try to contact old dude who
we going to figure out who.
And
we're definitely not going to call her friends.
We definitely ain't going to call old girl because she gone. She decided
she left us. Right.
But I'm going to find old dude who took this COVID money and be like, hey, knock me off a piece because I'm about to go to jail.
I don't even need a piece. Just give me some advice. Give me some advice. Where do I go? Where do we go?
No, give me some money first.
Well, yeah.
And I'm about to do this real quick, and then we be out. So yeah, it's serious. Like I can't stress enough how serious sexual harassment is. Like I tell my girls all the time, you talk to me. You tell me if anybody say something, if anybody do something, if anybody touch you. Because mama gonna go cuckoo. Right. Like daddy ain't gotta do it. Right. Mama gonna be the one.
He will.
He will.
One of us got to stay. So one of us got to stay out of jail though, because so we got to figure out who's gonna stay out of jail and take care of the kids.
Look, I'm trying not to go back to the old days where I know people that know people that know people.
Just saying. But I mean, that's how that's how it is though, And again, that's why it's so important to me that, situations like this, again, the justice system is just so flawed. Like, the people who need justice are often the ones who get it the least.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, those who seem to be in the right place at the right time with the right situation, right resources, right skin color, right, genital parts and everything else in between tend to get all the justice in the world. And so, again, it sucks. And I hope and pray that this doesn't cause setbacks in the justice system in the UK in particular, or that people then use this here in the States and try to use that as a defense over some foolishness. That, again, at the end of the day, dude, you got insulted. Get over yourself. Get over yourself. Again, they shouldn't have fired you, and you definitely do deserve compensation, but not for that. Not for that.
So they fired
Mr. Finn. They fired Mr. Finn, but they only fired Mr. Finn after he wrote a statement to the police, and they tried to figure out whether or not it was a criminal case, and rather than actually taking the time to figure out if it was a criminal case or not by calling the police station, they fired him 2 days later. They should have figured it out first and then proceeded with whatever they were going to do the right way. Instead, they just outright fired because they were stupid. Because they were stupid.
Mr. King is the one that made the threats.
Right. And we don't know what he made the threats for. We don't know the situation that occurred that caused that to happen. But even still, they should have never fired him. They should have waited until after they got all the facts about what he went to the police station for, and then had a conversation with him like they promised him. It was their fault, and they were the ones. Of course he was. Of course he was. As a matter of fact, they said at the end that his compensation is going to be less than what it could have been, because he brought this on himself by not informing them of what he was doing and bringing a document that was not an official document by the police. It was like it was Mr. Finn's brother.
At work.
This was done after. Yeah.
This was done at work though.
Yeah.
This whole
situation happened at work.
Okay,
it happened
because he
work.
didn't go through the proper channels.
Correct.
But I guess my thing is, you want to go through the proper channels, but if you feel threatened, who you gonna go to first?
Right.
What's your job gonna do?
Right.
If someone threatens you, what are they gonna do?
Right. And so again, it's not even the fact that he went to the police. That was all well and good. It's the fact that he proctored a document that wasn't produced by the police, gave it to them, and then they didn't investigate to see what it really was and fired him. Gotcha. They shouldn't have fired him. They should have waited and then. And so they were wrong for
kind of sneaky a little bit.
Correct. Too. He got fired. They shouldn't have fired him then, but he caused it by producing a fake document, which means that whatever compensation they want to give him, they're going to give him less than because of that.
So maybe that's the part of the reason why they fired him, because he produced something fake that wasn't real and that was like official but wasn't official.
Sure.
Like it was a police document that you shouldn't. It's almost like stealing a police car.
Sure. I mean, I don't know. All I know is that regardless of whether it happened that way or didn't, they didn't do their homework. The job didn't do the homework. They just said, "Oh, this is what he did. We gotta get rid of him." That part they shouldn't have done. Because once they did that, now he can do what he's do sue and all that stuff, and I'm bald. So I ain't like that.
They gonna have sympathy.
Man, sympathy. All right.
And we gonna do something there.
All right. You wanna play with my bald head, man?
Yes.
Yes. Well, that's it for our show. Thank you. You have been watching the Puzzle Podcast with Eddie B and Nicole. We are presented by Quality Content Puzzles, and we are sponsored by RVO Wellness, the very good puzzle company, Better Coat, and 4 Point Puzzles. We hope you enjoyed this show on tonight. We certainly did enjoy ourselves. Maybe a little too much, but hey, it's all for y'all's enjoyment. So we're glad that we were able to have a good time with y'all tonight. Join us on the next episode to laugh some more about the stupidity that is our world and the stories that we're getting out of it. As we always say, if you can't see the good, be the good. We love y'all. Have a good rest of your weekend. Peace out.